All right, Unit 7, Comparing Functions. The title of our lesson, this is target number 1, is Arithmetic and Geometric Sequences. So please write that on your tab. All right, so in our notes, our first vocab word is sequence. A sequence is an ordered list of numbers each number is called a term. So sequence is an ordered list of numbers. Each number is called a term. So here's how we're going to see this. Draw a little arrow. So let's say we have a number, and we're going to call that A, representing some number. And then what you're going to see is this N here, in the lower right-hand corner. That is the term in the nth position. It would look like this. Term in the nth position. Those will both represent numbers here soon. So an example might look like this. If we had a to the third term, that's equal to the term in third position. So you're going to see some sort of pattern. So it might look like this. A1, comma, A2, comma, A3, and it's going to continue. So we're going to go dot, dot, dot. That pattern is going to continue to A in the nth position. All right, so arithmetic sequence is the difference I'm going to draw a line here just to separate these two sections. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. It's the difference between each term is the same. We call this the common difference. So it's called the common difference. So we write an example here. And we say, we just list 5, 10, 15, 20. It's going to keep going. Our common difference there is we're adding 5 each time. So we can see it's plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. That is what we call the common difference. So our examples say, find the common difference for each sequence, then find the next 3 terms. So we can see here that's going from -7 to -14, so it's subtracting 7. From -14 to -21, subtracting 7. From -21 to -28, subtracting 7. So we're going to subtract 7 again, and our next term would be -35. And we're going to subtract 7 again, and our next term would be -42. Then we're going to subtract 7 again, and our next term would be -49. So our common difference is -7. Common difference is -7. And our next three terms are -35, -42, -49. In example B, we can see our numbers are increasing, and we can see that it's increasing by 3. So it's +3 from 5 to 8. From 8 to 11, it's +3. From 11 to 14, it's +3. So there's our common difference. Is equal to +3 or +3. So our next three numbers in our sequence, if we add 3, we have 17, plus 3, we have 20, plus 3, we have 23. There is our section on arithmetic sequences. So page 2 of our notes, geometric sequence. That is the ratio between each pair of consecutive terms is the same. So the ratio between each pair of consecutive terms is the same. This is called the common ratio. So here is an example. If I had the sequence 1, 5, 25, 125, I can see that I am multiplying by 5 each time. So I'd make a note, multiplying by 5, from 5 to 25, multiplying by 5, from 25 to 125, multiplying by 5. This is the common ratio. So it says find the common ratio for each sequence, then find the next three terms. So I have the numbers 3, 6, 12, 24. So I can see that my sequence is increasing. It's multiplying by 2. And 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. So my common ratio is multiplying by 2. And then 24 times 2 gives me 48. 48 times 2 gives me 96. And remember, as you're working on these, you can use a calculator. And I would just go 96 times 2, and I'd get 192. So there are my next 3 terms for this sequence. Example B, I can see that my numbers are getting positive and negative. So I can see that we are dividing. Now from a positive to a negative, so I know it has to be a negative. And 64 to 16 is dividing by 4. So it's dividing by negative 4. Or remember, that's the same as multiplying by negative 1/4 as a fraction. And then I can see that it's dividing by negative 4 because it's going from positives to negatives. So my common ratio is equal to negative 1/4. And then I can see that on my calculator, I can use my calculator. I'm going to go negative 1 divide by negative 4. I get 0.25. Where the other way to do it is negative 1 multiply by negative 1/4, and I get 1/4. And then I'm going to times that answer by negative 1/4, and I get negative 1/16. And I'm going to multiply that by negative 1/4, and I get positive 1/64. So we can see if we're going from positives to negatives, most likely our common ratio is a negative number. All right, so our last part of our notes is decide whether the sequence is arithmetic, geometric, or neither. Explain. So if I look here, I can see that it's decreasing by 60, and it's decreasing by 30. So it looks like it's dividing it by 2 or multiplying it by 1/2. Multiplying by 1/2, multiplying by 1/2, which means that this is geometric. And that's because it has a common ratio of 1/2. In our next example, we can see we went from 2 to 6, from 6 to 11, from 11 to 17. So it doesn't look like we're multiplying or dividing by the same number. Looks like we are adding 4, we add 5, and we added 6. So this answer would be neither. We don't have a common difference or common ratio. And those are all of our notes for target 1.